hope of the world lies in the rehabilitation of the living human being, not just body, but also the soul. Václav Havel, former president of the Czech Republic. Rehabilitation plays a critical role in improving our social landscape, and today we'll engage with some men who are sharing their stories of social rehabilitation, plus ways we can help to, well, rehabilitate bad relationships in the workplace environment. Hi, I'm Theodore Henry, and welcome to the pages of Jamaica magazine. There's much planned for you today, so do stay with us.
Let's get a little breeze on this land. All right. Now let's get some bounce in the rhythm. All right. Let's get some fire on our hearts. Now that is what we call all right. Run, come, get some Jamaica.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, July 24. The Ministry of Health and Wellness has activated its National Ebola Virus Disease Response Plan to prevent or limit the impact of the disease affecting Jamaica. Portfolio Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton made the announcement in Parliament Tuesday. It's in response to the World Health Organization, WHO's declaration that the Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo is now a public health emergency of international concern. In that declaration, the WHO cautioned that the risk was high for the region of Africa, but said the global risk remained low.
I want to make it clear that Jamaica is nonetheless preparing for any eventuality, although this is not a call for panic, just to be prepared.
Dr. Tufton says local interventions will include specialized training and retraining of relevant stakeholders, including customs and immigration personnel, port health staff, public health department, clinical care teams, and all persons who may handle specimen. The Ministry of Health will also heighten surveillance and screening at ports of entry to the country and review clinical protocols for management and infection control practices.
Mr. Speaker, we are also reinforcing our lab response capabilities and preparing isolation areas at our public health facilities. Back in 2015, we had procured personal protective equipment which were distributed to hospitals. We will be ensuring that these are in place, if not replaced. We also put in storage emergency stock at the Ministry's central stores. We are now doing an inventory of these items, and additional items will be procured as required.
In other health news, the minister is reporting a major decline in the cases of dengue. At the peak of the outbreak in January this year, the Health and Wellness Minister says the country recorded 1,943 cases. But Dr. Tufton says there has since been a significant fall in those numbers, with June 2019 having only 124 cases to date.
So we have seen a fall off, Mr. Speaker, but nevertheless, we're not going to take it for granted. And indeed, we have seen some months having a slight uptick, but certainly nowhere near where it was back in January of this year.
In a statement to Parliament on Tuesday, Dr. Tufton said that as of July 22, there were 4,930 suspected, presumed, or confirmed dengue cases. Of the total, there were 1,057 cases with dates of onset in 2018 and 3,873 with dates of onset in 2019. He said the ministry was anticipating an increase in the breeding of mosquitoes during the summer months, including those that carry the dengue virus. In anticipation of that, the first few weeks of July have seen the start of activities under the Enhanced Vector Control Program. These include a comprehensive public education and media campaign, home inspections and the destruction of breeding sites by 1,000 temporary vector control workers, as well as island-wide fogging by parish health departments. Citizens are meanwhile urged to support the state's interventions by ridding their homes of mosquito breeding sites. In other news, out of Parliament yesterday, the National Cultural and Creative Industries Council of the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport is now up and running. This was revealed by Minister Olivia Grange during her sectoral presentation.
The council, which resides in my ministry, is now poised to take on the collation of data on the industry. This is essential for decision making. We have been speaking about the paucity and inaccuracy of data for a very long time. And so we are ensuring that this is done.
Minister Grange says she has initiated dialogue with various statistics agencies, including Statin, the PIOJ, and Bank of Jamaica, to secure accurate and reliable data on the sector. The National Cultural and Creative Industries Council will operate as an overarching intersectoral one-stop shop for targeted intervention in the sector. Among its deliverables are the establishment of a digital distribution and promotion platform for Jamaican music, video, and fashion. The Council is also charged with the establishment of the Kingston Creative Media Village, the Creative Skills Council, and a Culture and Creative Industries Fund for Jamaica. Meanwhile, 100 days of special activities will be carried out across the country to celebrate the centenary of Jamaican cultural icon Miss Lou.
Miss Lou will be celebrated as a social commentator, poet and advocate, and in particular, as chief exponent and proponent of the Jamaican language.
The Culture Minister says the activities will be organized by various agencies, including the Jamaica Cultural Development Commission, National Library of Jamaica, and the Bureau of Gender Affairs. She adds that in tribute to Miss Lou, the ministry is working closely with the University of the West Indies to use the celebration of her life as the catalyst for a national dialogue on the status of our Jamaican patois.
This will have implication for how patois is positioned in social and official discourse.
Minister Grange has also proclaimed March 21 each year as National Poetry Day, where Jamaicans will join the rest of the world in highlighting and celebrating the art form. 5 additional business incubators will be established across the island over the next 2 years. State Minister of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries, Floyd Green, says this is being done to provide much-needed business services and support for micro, small and medium-sized enterprise MSME operators. He says the incubators, which will be built by the Factories Corporation of Jamaica, will enable entrepreneurs to grow their businesses at a low cost. Space has already been identified in Montego Bay for the establishment of one of these incubators.
I would love us to work quickly, Minister, President, to see how we can take the linkages into that space in Montego Bay, right in Glendevon, in the heart of some of our most troubled areas, to see we can provide a space for entrepreneurs to grow their businesses at a low cost.
Minister Green made the announcement during his address at the recent opening ceremony for the 5th staging of the Christmas in July trade show. And finally, the Labor and Social Security Ministry and the Private Security Regulation Authority will be strengthening enforcement measures to protect security guards and contract workers. Portfolio Minister Shahini Robinson made the announcement during her recent contribution to the sectoral debate in Parliament.
The ministry is moving to prosecute companies which are in breach of the labor laws.
Minister Robinson says the matter of the status and work arrangements for security guards will be placed before a joint select committee of Parliament later this financial year for open and transparent deliberations on the issues. Meanwhile, the Labour Minister is expressing concern about precarious trends in contract employment. She pointed to arrangements that deny workers certain statutory rights, entitlements, and protection that are prescribed by law.
We also find troubling global reports which points to underinvestment in training, innovation, and lowered productivity associated with these forms of contractual arrangements. In this regard, the Ministry is prepared to examine good practices internationally and to engage tripartite discussions with a view of carving out an appropriate national response, balancing the interests of both employers and employees.
And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
Protect yourself from the flu virus. Visit your nearest health center or doctor to get the flu vaccine. Cover your mouth and nose when coughing and sneezing. Wash your hands regularly with soap and water or by using an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Avoid the spread of germs by not touching your eyes, mouth, or nose. And be sure to regularly disinfect surfaces and objects that are used often. Remember, your health is your responsibility.
You know, I came across this quote some time ago from entrepreneur Brian Tracy that says, "Every experience in your life is being orchestrated to teach you something you need to know to move forward." The CSJP launched a program which targets men who have experienced the wrong side of life, but who are using those experiences to help create something better for future generations. Here's Men with a Message.
The Citizen Security and Justice Program, CSJP, is a crime and violence prevention initiative. It was developed by the Ministry of National Security to enhance security and justice by addressing the social and economic factors that help foster crime. In 2010, the program launched an outreach initiative called CSJP's Men with a Message.
It is a group of messengers who are reformed men whose stories are aimed to inspire other young men.
Well, I've been a member from the inception of the group from 2010. My role is giving tips and caution to at-risk males, and just to show people that change is possible.
CSJP come and put me on the platform for a better life. My role in the program, I encourage my fellow member that we have a task and a journey. My role is also to empower the young youth them.
They were recruited using different criteria. There had to have been proof that they had been out of crime and violence for at least 2 years. They also had to get recommendations from the police, from the community members, and from especially like the community development committees. We must firstly understand that it's a journey. And if they were coming from the other extreme, you know that naturally a lot of workshops, a lot of personal development activities would have taken place along that journey. So they've been able to adjust their behavior. They've been able to reflect within themselves and say, if there are other youngsters who are looking up to me, the onus is on me to act in a particular way.
My name is Derrick Jones. I'm a member of Men with a Message. I was in central lockup for around a month. I was a part of the problem, robbing people, park and corner, defend ends and turf, till end up go out fall on the wrong side. When I first wake up in jail, I can't believe that I'm in jail, I wake. So from there, my mindset started thinking different, knowing that jail was not the right place for me at that time.
I'm Kitsi Brian, and I'm a Man with a Message. Being in institutions and seeing what life is like, you just have to make a decision. Is either you're going to continue like this or you're going to make amends of your life. I decided that coming back into civilization, that I wanted a change.
We definitely see where the Men with a Message initiative, I mean the CSJP on a whole, but also in particular the Men with a Message initiative, has been having significant impacts on the youngsters across this island. One such evidence is it being the demand that is there for the program, for the young men to come and speak at the different schools. And not only have they been asked to come and speak, but there have been many calls for them to return.
I remember a particular place, it was somewhere over in St. Andrew, but there was a young man there who said that he knew me before all of this, and when I gave him a message and I finished and the young man came, he was crying, tears running down his face, and he was asking me that if I don't remember him, but honestly I didn't know him, but he said that he knew me from time before, and that he had loved the transformation. I can safely say that young man is a member of the National Engineering Institute, which is NTI. So to see that I was the person that inspired that, wow, that's great.
They are representing a brand that is synonymous to peace building, a brand that is synonymous with law and order, right? So the Men with a Message are always expected to be good ambassadors of the program, of the CSJP, and of the Ministry of National Security, which is our parent ministry.
Don't follow a friend when I have nowhere going. Badness is madness. Stay in school. Garvey teach you that anywhere we go, read something before we reach. Even if we sit down and waiting on the people, we need to read something. Read a book, and you would see the difference between you and the man when I read.
Favored, preferred, the prepared mind. We have the power, you know, to form and shape our future. And I'd like to think that, you know, if you want good for yourself, then you'd want to choose the positive way too. Other people are doing what they want to do. So if I have a dream, I don't see the reason why I can't go there and achieve it, just like any other human being.
How are you going with all of that? You're moving?
No. I'm a passport, I come for renewing, you know. But you want me to show me no in that place full of crowd and the long line I take you all day. Make sure you walk with some food. And...
No, man, things improve, man. Them have a lot of drop box where you can use inside. It's finishing in no time.
Yeah,
yeah man, them are done.
Yeah. And some food, man. Try this. A drop box.
Transformation is happening across the public sector. Many services are now available online. We are building a better public service for all. Brought to you by the Transformation Implementation Unit.
Here's an inevitable point. The workplace is made up of people of varying backgrounds, personalities, and perspectives on just about everything. So conflicts are sure to arise from time to time, but that doesn't mean that there isn't anything that we can do about those conflicts. Learn more about mediation and conflict resolution next.
Is unhealthy for productivity in the workplace. You guys can't continue like this. And she come in the morning
and I'm trying to show her, she just act like idiot.
Alright, so here what? I have a video from the Dispute Resolution Foundation that I think you guys need to watch. Come with me.
A conflict is at its most fundamental, a disagreement. Workplace conflict has a number of significant impacts. There's a cost to conflict at the workplace. So someone seeing a dispute between two employees or between employees and the employer being played out in public might be inconvenienced by what is happening, but they're unaware of what's the cost. There are all kinds of costs, from personal costs, health costs, reputational costs, to financial costs. So conflict can impact somebody at the workplace. It can impact the production and productivity of the business. If you think of it, any workplace could find that between a supervisor or just between two employees, there could be an unresolved conflict and it affects how they work. So if we have to work in a way that says your work is affecting mine and vice versa, and we're not getting along, then over time what will happen is that we tend not to be very productive because we're not communicating with each other, we're not responding, we're not engaged. So it affects the organization's relationship internally, it affects the dynamics of that, it affects productivity, it affects communication, it affects a number of things. So simple things like management decisions may be impacted by conflict at the workplace.
Mediation is very, very important in order to solve conflicts like these and to ensure that we have productivity.
Conflict resolution is a very broad term used to describe different approaches to try and manage conflict when conflict occurs. So mediation is just one of those processes, a very structured process in which a neutral third party who is trained helps disputing parties to come to a resolution of their dispute. Now, at the workplace, that will be helping them to negotiate. So they may be unable to negotiate by themselves, so they may get somebody who is external to each of them to help them to resolve that dispute, and that person would play the role of a mediator.
So guys, this is where I come in, to sit with you both and to discuss the issue further. But before we get to the meat of the matter, there is just one more point to note.
Now, in order to do that, the mediator has to have some very effective communication skills. So how does the mediator communicate? And communicate in a way that includes both verbal and non-verbal, but at the same time interpreting what is it that the verbal and non-verbal cues that are coming from the parties. What are those cues saying? So the mediator has to be very effective at communication. Now, helping the parties to communicate may be a part of the communication, the larger communication skills of the mediator. However, at a particular point in time, mediator has to help the parties to negotiate. So the mediator has to be au fait with what negotiation is about, how are the parties negotiating, and help them to be able to negotiate in a way that settles the dispute that they have.
Alright, so as you guys can see, conflict, it's nothing new. Today was probably the first for you guys, and it maybe won't be the last. But based on the video that you've just seen, you can now tell the true effect of what conflict can do within the organization. So you see, it's very important for you to practice mediation and proper conflict resolutions. Now, having seen and heard all of that, what really happened today?
So earlier we learned about conflict resolution in the workplace. Now here's a little more on how we can manage conflicts in any area of our lives. Number one, make conflict resolution the priority rather than wanting to win. We've got to respect the point of view of others. It should not just be about you being right. Number two, focus on the now. Instead of looking to the past and throwing blame, focus on what you can do now to help solve the problem. Number three, choose your battles. Conflicts can be so draining, so it's important to think if the issue is really worth your time and your energy. And number four, be willing to forgive. Conflict resolution is often impossible if you're not willing to forgive others. So whenever or wherever conflicts may arise, let's make a conscious effort to resolve them. This is all part of a much larger effort to make our island home the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and of course, to do business. It's important to fix or address things at the root, and that root can simply be childhood. We want to affirm children from an early age and assure them of how endless their possibilities are. Why? Watch.
As the CEO of the National Parenting Support Commission, I want to speak specifically to parents to affirm your children. A, acknowledge. In other words, recognize your child's importance. F, friend. Understand that there must be mutual affection, that bonding is absolutely important. It must be encouraged. F, favor. Your children desire your approval and your support. When they meet your expectations, do not just ignore them, but support and encourage them. I, influence. In a time when some of our influences could be called into question, We need to ensure that as parents, we become the most important influence in the lives of our children. We want parents to get involved in the lives of their children. We want them to lead by example, and we want you to encourage your children's dreams and aspirations. Our respect. Respect is something that we must teach our children. As adults, I want to caution though, that is also something we must earn. We must not only expect respect to be reciprocated because we're adults, we must show it. We must model for our children what it means to respect. Motivate. Be your child's cheerleader. Speak positively over his or her life. As a parent, learn to celebrate effort, especially when they're in school and not just grades. That's very important. When your child is doing his or her best and putting out effort, encourage it and support him or her.
Hey, do I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Thy rod and thy staff may comfort me.
Everyone is here for a reason. Everything on earth have a season. If me ask if you're ready and you tell me you're not ready now, me believe you. Cause when the most I ready, you have to move. Pull your socks up and get in the groove. Cause if Jah say west, you can't say not. Listen when me talk. Jah will never give a man more than he can bear. So I will never judge a one by the way they appear. Oh Jah, I just wanna be in your presence. Ooh, please show me with whom I should reverence. Yeah, try you make me firm on the battlefield. Me have me sword and me tackle shield. You make me feel how tackle feel. You prepare me for everything. Jah, you're me king. Me say that from deep within. So hell boy can't do me anything. You are me everything. And you will never give a man more than he can bear. So I will never judge a one by the way they appear. Oh Jah, I just wanna be in your presence. Ooh, please show me with whom I should reverence. Yeah, watch it make me talk to my Father, the Alpha, the Omega. I am answer my prayers and give me anything me ask for. I am the creator. You will never see anyone greater. But through me I wanna judge a soldier. Me glad say me know Jah. And he will never give a man more than he can bear. And I will never judge a one by the way they appear. Oh Jah, I just wanna be in your presence. Ooh, please show me with whom I should reverence.
Today's magazine has come to an end, but if you missed anything, you can watch it all again on our website or our YouTube channel. And you can also keep up with the JIS team on our Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter pages. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Theodore Henry. You take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.